You can either do this using dumbbells, a kettlebell, or a barbell, or a sandbag, whatever you have available. Now, the RDL is quite often taught where proper hinging isn't learned. So that's where we're going to use our knowledge from the Dumbbell deadlifts to incorporate into this movement. Allow the weights to pull your shoulders down, spread the shoulder blades wide away from each other to create that internal tension. And you should feel like your pecs and your teres are engaging. So when you're in that top position, I want you to first create the correct tension. Spread the heels wide away from each other so it should feel like the toes are pointing inwards. And then as you control down, you're going to keep the weight close to your leg. Don't let the weights creep away from your body. Create tension by spreading the butt cheeks apart from each other. Imagine that cog is turning in your hip joint as you lower down and keep the weight gliding over your legs. Keep spreading the butt cheeks apart and the heels apart. And then when you reach the bottom of the movement, so that will be wherever your natural inhale through your nose stops, you're then going to drive back up again and squeeze the bottom of the glutes up. Spreading the heels apart, spreading the glutes apart. Roll the dumbbells down your legs. Stop where the natural inhale stops. Exhale through the mouth on the way back up. Squeeze the bottom of your glutes in. Quite often this movement is taught by pushing the hips back. You will feel it in your hamstrings and in your glutes. However, it's more of a stretch, which is fine. Like, it's good to get a stretch in the muscles, but we want to make sure that the muscles are actually working and engaging and hinging properly, rather than it just coming from our lower spine. As soon as we push the hips back, quite often people start hyperextending the back and feeling all the load in their lumbar. So instead, I want you to focus on the cog turning here, just like we did in the Dumbbell deadlift, not worrying about how straight or hyperextended the spine is, keeping the core engaged like we do in the awareness breathing, and focusing on that cog turning in the hip as we control down. Your hips are naturally going to push back slightly, but just make sure that the movement is coming from your inner hamstrings and the bottom of your glutes, rather than from your back. This exercise might take a little bit of practice to get right, but stick with it, persevere, and listen to your breath.